Me, I want what's coming.
Oh, well, what's coming to you?
The world, Chico.
All I have in this world is my laws, my word. And I don't break them for no one. You understand?
Revenge is the act of passion. Vengeance is an act of justice.
Put this thing together! Me! That's what...
I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming. You got that?
Fuck them all!
Put this thing together! Me! That's who...
Every fan out there of the film, of which there are millions and millions of people who really revere Scarface. And so for us, we really took it seriously.
Now you're talking to me, baby. That I like.
At one point, we were over 106 people working on Scarface. That's 106 people, all with really specific things to do, really focused on delivering the best gameplay experience possible. Because you can have as many people working on the game as you want, but that doesn't determine quality. What determines quality is a passion and a focus. And Radical has that going away for Scarface. They've been working on this game, by the time we're done, close to 3 years. And unless you have a drive and passion and focus for the product, you're not going to be able to get the best out of those people.
Well, it's not just any popular movie franchise. There are a whole bunch of very passionate people out there. This film means an incredible amount to them. So, what we all want to really do is respect that and give them what they're after, but also respect the fact that we are making a game, and a game is a very different thing from a movie.
You can make a movie about a story, you can write a book about something, but nothing puts you in the driver's seat like a game.
You thought you could take me? No, I take Tony Montana down by me!
In terms of the story for the game, we were faced with some interesting challenges. One, the movie story was just so well done by Oliver Stone, Brian De Palma, Al Pacino, and the rest of the cast that there's really no way that you could improve upon what they did in the film. The second was that Tony dies at the end of the movie. And so for a player to invest their time in gameplay, only to have the character that they've become so involved with die at the end of the gameplay experience, we didn't feel was very compelling. So we ultimately decided on the strategy of creating a sequel game, a what-if scenario. What if Tony didn't die?
Well, I'm back, okay? This is my town, my world, and nobody's gonna take it away from me.
For us, because we're going to change the fiction of the film, we had to start at a point prior to Tony dying, obviously. But the other reason why we chose that mansion, shootout as the opening is, Scarface can't be a pussy ass, Tony's gonna ride a bike around Miami for the first half hour of gameplay. It's gotta come over the top at you like a fist to the face. And that's why that Tony, blowing open the door, say hello to my little friend line, and then just spilling out bullets into people's bodies was something that set the tone and said, you know what, this game is gonna fucking grab you by the balls right at the start and not let you go until you're out of Tony's mansion.
So it's sort of like, can the player, when reliving that experience, can they even out Tony? Can they figure out how to get out of every situation, even the seemingly inescapable one he's at the end of the movie?
Give me a fucking army, you're gonna save me!
Yeah, we have an overall story arc, but how the player reaches those, those story elements, we could all play the game and none of us would have the same type of experience because Scarface gives the player a lot of freedom. Now, that's not to say that we don't use a lot of, cinematic moments and we have a lot of NISs that, draw emotion from the player. But for us, it's really more about the game's got to be fun to play.
When people play this game, the one thing that's going to shine out for them is being able to play Tony Montana, being able to play with his attitude, with his outlook on life, with his perspective that was clearly established in the movie.
We've taken him from movies, taken this strong, iconic character and put him in a video game and just let him loose. And that's really what we're giving the gamer. We're giving the gamer the opportunity of taking this character, this so over-the-top character who's capable of so much, and said, do what you want with him in this open world.
This is good, man. Real good.
Tony is not a generic thug. He's Tony Montana. He's got a set of morals that he lives by. He doesn't kill innocent women and children. That's basically his downfall in the movie, is when he won't allow that car to be exploded because he doesn't want to kill the innocent woman and child.
Do a little kiss in a car. This is so fucking bad.
He's got this moral sense to him, and he lives his life by it. That's something that was really important to us in capturing this character, is capture both sides of him. The full depth of Tony's characters in this game.
You think I killed 2 kids and a woman? Fuck that!
Well, I think the reason why the moral code works in Scarface is because it's true to the character.
What do you think I am, huh?
We had this whole thing, it was like, what would Tony Montana do? And that was the kind of thing that we stuck with. Like, what would Tony do?
We use that same litmus test for every single element that we put in the game. It's sort of the, what would Tony Montana do?
Now, my boy, we can get down to business.
We want the player to feel like Tony Montana, to live through the experience of building up their drug empire from scratch, starting from nothing and becoming the super powerful drug lord. And the way to do that is to take risks, to push it the right amount, to have the balls of Tony Montana. But being a drug dealer is not easy.
It's a war, Tony. They're all trying to take over what you had.
Tell me what you know.
It gives you the opportunity to work your way through those ranks, starting out dealing with street dealers and small suppliers, and eventually ending up owning most of Miami, almost all of Miami, and working with the real big suppliers out in the islands just outside of Miami.
You work for me, and we go straight to the top. How'd you like that?
So the Drug Wars gameplay itself also unlocks story missions and basically regulates the entire flow of the experience.
I need to start making my own moves. Gotta get back in,
A large part of the game centers around shooting, and we came up with the concept of blind rage, which if you think back to the movie when Tony's standing up on the balcony and Sosa's henchmen are storming his mansion, and he's just all coked up in an absolute rage up at the top there, just shooting the shit out of everyone. And we sort of try to bottle that energy and get that across into our mechanic as well.
You fucking motherfucker!
There's a whole structure, a whole system underneath just the pure action that you do, where what you're trying to do as Tony Montana is recapture, everything that's been taken away from you.
I took a little vacation, Things got a little bit crazy, but that's done. I'm back.
We've built a lot of subsystems into there that the player's going to enjoy, like exotic items that you're able to buy and really sort of capture that feeling of like, okay, I'm taking that next step up.
You're selling drugs, you're collecting millions of dollars. You can't just spend it on new ammo, and another version of the M16. There's got to be stuff to blow your money on that isn't necessary, because that's being Tony Montana, right? The extravagant lifestyle.
Can I buy a Tiger from this thing?
I believe that the Tiger will be made available soon, yes.
Scarface is an enormous game. It's just gigantic, open world, full city of Miami, as well as a mapped out version of the Caribbean islands.
There's so much work to be able to enable a player to interact with our game how he or she wants to. We had to create tons of both outdoor and indoor locations so that the player could explore and find fun things to do.
You want to take on the world, so you need a large Miami. And we also wanted to incorporate these exotic islands where you could really get away from Miami and try and make big bucks.
There's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of planning and a lot of understanding of what the content of the game is going to be. And you have to design your game so that your world is limited as well, so you have to have good boundary conditions in the world.
The process integrating game design and world building is basically called gray blocking. And at the very start of the project, you have game designers defining the gameplay that they want in a certain environment, and then you also have someone defining exactly what that environment should be as a theme. At that point, we will lay out a blueprint of what that environment should look like, and then we will build that in a gray block, which is basically a very, very simple representation of that geometry that we can place in the game and that we can play through. At that point, when we actually have a viable game footprint, we will then pass that off to a world builder who can actually start detailing it, painting it, adding textures, adding props, vegetation, and start to make it look like a real environment that has a flourished art direction.
Once we got some sort of a fun game, we took those gray blocks and started sort of like polishing them, adding textures, making them look more sophisticated, and of course creating very cool props
that interact with characters and vehicle. Another part to that process would be including the concept drawings and sitting down with the art director and looking at that stuff and making sure, we would sit through and say, okay, we need 4 of these and 2 of those, and we'd make bus stops and mailboxes, whatever it took to make that area look cool. And if, say, we had a location like Venus Bar on one of the islands, we'd look at some of the elements that Hanny's team had made, and we'd say, hey, that thing would be cool to blow up. Let's take one of those and make it into a prop. That thing there is cool too. Let's make one of those. Yeah. So we definitely collaborated on making all this stuff come to life.
We're really pushing on the rendering side. So we spent a lot of time working on the ocean, making it look really great. We spent a lot of time on the vehicles, and that looks great. And on the AI side, we have a huge AI team, and those guys are working really hard to provide excellent content.
Holy shit! As a mission scripter, my goal is to take the design that is presented to me, place it into the game, and try to make it fun, balanced, and challenging for the player to progress through the game. Decide, okay, more guys over here that shoot less accuracy, or these guys are more accurate and there's less numbers of them, or they spawn quicker.
Come on, who's gonna face me?
Vehicle AI in Scarface has quite a large scope. There's a number of different types of vehicles in this game: cars, boats, helicopters, planes. From a technical point of view, there's a lot of challenge there. These cars need to race, chase, flee, explode in spectacular ways. Traffic AI has to respond the way you think they should, stopping at stoplights, not running over people, cops spawning, chasing you. Of course, they must also respond to Tony in the way you want to be responded to. When he taunts them, they get out of the cars, you can take their cars, they respond to you with dialogue.
Me, I want what's coming to me.
Oh, well, what's coming to you, Tony?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
We actually took a trip down to Miami before the project started and took about 4,000 photos for reference. And the biggest thing was just getting a good feel of the culture and just the life of what Miami is really like and what it was like to be there around that time. And that just gave us amazing inspiration to come back here and create these environments.
What I brought back from that trip to Miami was sort of like the light, that feeling of heat, that sense of the pace of life. Those are the sorts of elements, rather than, this building sat on this corner or this road had this kind of junction at the end of it. It's more that kind of ambience rather than a literal kind of accuracy.
We looked at those pictures and we tried to get the essence of those pictures and translate them into cool-looking environments. It's a very stylized impression of Miami, I would say. Elements from the game, the street lights, are all stolen straight from the real world. We'd build the models, put them together. Also incorporate with the models is a destruction state where there's a version of it where it's clean and a version of it where it's destroyed. Those two elements are exported out. We then add to it effects and some of the information to tell you how it's going to behave. And then at that point, we throw it through the pipeline into the game and test it out and see how it works.
With respect to the environments that we had from the movie, it was a little bit more straightforward because we had really good reference from the movie. It was really cool to be walking around with Tony Montana in a full 3D interactive environment compared to just watching it as a third person from a movie.
There was a good correspondence between the core sort of iconography and the core values, this black v white that goes on in the movie and goes on with Tony Montana. So I was trying to preserve that, or try and carry that over. So what you'll see in the game is this kind of like difference between the way we're treating the outdoor spaces and the indoor spaces.
We had to include sort of the cheesiness of the 80s, but also sort of, kind of cool style that would be relevant to today's game players, and so we sort of mixed the two together and came up with something kind of that looks kind of 80s, and you can see it as being very 80s, but still sort of fitting with a modern kind of vibe.
So choosing locations for the game, it was important that we obviously hit the ones that people expected to see. So Tony's mansion being first and foremost of that. Then the other one that we kind of made sure that we were going to see was the Babylon Club. The only external one that we really needed to hit, I think, was the Sunray Motel down on Ocean Drive. So a lot of effort went into that to sort of like, again, scour the movie, work with concept art, create kind of like color roughs, match the lighting to make sure that we delivered on those, because they are very much, you know, the iconography of the film. And I think those three we kind of have spent a huge amount of time on and kept going back to, and hopefully it pays off and people see that it's paid off.
A lot of the scenes that you see in the movie, they were kind of sets that were constructed in the studio, and you never know, you know, how one space leads into another. For a game, you have to kind of make that imaginative leap. You have to create those joining spaces. So that's what we've done. We've got things like the vehicles, the characters, the props, the cinematics. Each one of those is at the stage where you have to kind of coordinate the look and coordinate how they're relating with one another.
Time is gone. We gotta expand.
You see that film over and over, and I kind of have nothing but respect for the performance of Pacino. What he's doing in that film all the time with his face is unbelievable. I mean, when you see subsequent shots of him sort of from other movies, he looks like a different person.
We were probably under a lot more scrutiny than any other game as far as cinematics goes. This is a famous movie. We have the most famous face ever in a video game. We're trying to make it as close to the movie as possible. We watched the movie, we used De Palma's shots, you know, his signature shots as inspiration. I hope we live up to, you know, to the expectations of the people out there.
Say hello to my little friend!
Music and sound in general plays a huge role in this game. So, you know, we wanted to create an authentic Scarface experience. So, 1983, Miami, we've got all the sounds that you would expect to hear in that world.
A lot of attention was paid to the music in the game. One of the most important aspects was we were able to access the full Giorgio Moroder score from the film and incorporate that into the game. And it's such a dramatic and iconic piece of music that it really sets the stage for the gameplay experience.
So you've got that whole set of authentic 1983 music, and then what we wanted to do is actually give music to the people of today's generation who also love Scarface and let them customize their game experience in their open world. So we also have got some contemporary hip-hop music, contemporary rock, and just popular music from today that people can actually plug into their music player in the game and actually play that music as well.
I mean, I think you have to be a little bit flexible. Not every tune we wanted got in the game, but I would say the vast majority of songs that we really felt like were important to be in Scarface are actually in the final game.
We wanted a track that was kind of fresh and no one had really heard before, so we really wanted to use the kind of music player as a sort of way to do that.
Vivendi came up with a very innovative promotion, which was basically to run a music contest on MySpace and basically ask MySpace community members who were musicians to post their songs up to MySpace and let the community vote on which song was most appropriate for Scarface in the Scarface game, and that they would put that artist in the game. And so a group out of Chicago, KZ, won the contest and will actually be featured in the game with their track.
I got ears, Joe. I hear things.
For the Foley, for a lot of the combat hits and Foley sounds in the game, we had a session where we got a ton of fruit. We brought in fruit and pasta and all these kinds of things, and we basically smashed the shit out of everything. And we recorded that, layered it all up, and mixed it so it just sounded really kind of nasty, almost like over-the-top horror film. Every sound effect in this game is kind of that approach where it has to feel more brutal than in reality it is, of course. In this game, I think there are 32,000 lines of dialogue.
Come on, look at me. I know Miami. I'm gonna take it all back. You know it's true.
We wanted to capture the whole feeling of the movie, that kind of excess of Pacino's performance, which really demanded like an entire kind of, almost a complete vocabulary for Tony Montana. Not only that, but we wanted to get a really strong supporting cast. Obviously, you need people to perform really well against that kind of a character to even come close to standing up to him. Most games are kind of around 3,000, 5,000 lines. So obviously we've gone just way, way beyond anything that certainly I've worked with before.
Keep your Vaseline paws out of my pants, okay? Tony, I've missed you so much.
Fucking loser.
I stole the world, man.
Look, this is the kind of shit that sells itself.
Holy fuck!
Well, try it and die.
Do you understand?
I think the dialogue in the video game is hilarious, and lots of the lines have become staples in the sound editing room too.
We suggest you make a donation.
Maybe you two should go home and donate a little something to your wives, you know?
Well, obviously bringing all these elements together, like the sound effects and the kind of dialogue stuff, that obviously needs to be mixed, and like with interactive entertainment, it's very different to mixing like a movie, for example, because everything is linear in a film, and it's everything's laid out, and you know what the big events are, and you know exactly when they're going to happen. So with a game, it's completely kind of open-ended, and you never know when the player's going to trigger these events, and you never know what music is going to be playing in that situation. You don't know what kind of characters are going to be there, so we have to do like a kind of full interactive mix for the whole game. So we're taking all the game production and we're moving it to where we're going to mix all the different elements of the game on that stage there.
There's a lot of people that feel very passionately about this product, feel very passionately about the character, and it's up to us. You know, we need to take good care of that.
It's very exciting working on a game that you know people are going to pay attention to.
I'm a big fan of the movie as well, and we're doing everything we can to make sure we deliver on an authentic Scarface experience, because we know how much it means to the fans.
One of the first things that you'll notice in Scarface is that Tony's mansion plays an enormous role. The game starts exactly where the movie leaves off, and that puts the player right into the action. We thought it would be really fun to give the player control over Tony on the balcony and let him literally shoot his way through the mansion in the middle of this crazy firestorm, and then afterwards resurface and rebuild your empire. As we move into Miami, it really sort of emphasizes the point of why we chose to make Scarface an open world game. Tony should be able to go anywhere he wants, travel anywhere he wants, take on mission structures in unique ways, and open world gameplay really suited that. Sunray Motel is one of the most famous scenes in Scarface, which is just, you say chainsaw scene, that's what people think of as Scarface. The Babylon Club is another tremendous place from the game that's actually in the game and the film, and because Tony returns to it so many times in the movie, we felt like it was important also to return to it in the game that way. The very first sort of real mission you get in the game is to go see Sheffield at the club. And then again, later in the game, Tony returns to the Babylon Club to actually purchase it and turn it into one of his fronts. We drew most of the Cuban influence from, Tony's background, as well as this area of Little Havana. Nacho's tanker was something that came up very early on in the design process. We wanted to build a level that was nothing like the rest of either the city of Miami or the islands. Below the tanker, there's an entirely different world. It's really where, the dregs of society and the cocaine business come to party and to gamble and to drink and dance and do drugs or do coke. In order to progress through the game, if you don't have an operation channel in the island sending cocaine into Miami, then you can't sell cocaine in Miami. So it's crucial, and Tony goes back to the islands again and again. So we finished the game at Sosa's mansion in Bolivia. So we have a really nice thematic bookend with the game opening in Tony's mansion and closing in Sosa's. And whether actually you get revenge on Sosa or not, I'll leave to the game story to tell.
Pete called me up and we ended up having a meeting, and he goes, okay, look, we're opening the game up, we're looking at the design doc, and we want to, change some things, make some things better, and we're going to have about 30 to 40 roles, and I want name talent in every single one of them.
You moving in on Miami?
This man is crazy.
Scarface can't just be what everybody else is doing. It has to be something beyond that. The decision was made early on that we want to cast all of, even some of the minor parts, with name talent, and that talent that's really good and fit the part, most importantly. Not looking just to cast a bunch of names to cast a bunch of names.
Say hello
To my little friend. All those characters work for the game and make the gameplay experience better for the player.
We work with the casting director, and basically we bring all the designers in and the producers, and everyone kind of just brainstorms, picks out names we think would be good for those roles. And then we narrow it down, and then it's basically it's just the people we really want, and if they're into Scarface, and a lot of people are and were,
Come on in and see what we do.
then they're more than willing to sign up for something like that.
Get away from me, you hairy back little monkey. No, when I got the call to do this, it was such a thrill. I would have done it for free. I kept saying I would have done it for free. And they haven't paid me yet, so I think they might not pay me after saying that, which is cool too, but it's all good.
We view the game from a worldwide basis. We want fans of, the game in Spain or England, wherever, all over the world, that they have characters in the game that sort of are local celebrity talent that they identify with. Like Ricky Gervais is, from the UK.
There's a job going at Mickey D's. I can put a word in for you. If you fuck off.
Obviously, we wanted him to come in and do a kind of a badass kind of character. He took it into a direction which was it worked really well.
Maybe try one that. What the fuck are you doing?
No, I'm not going to say that. It's rude. I play a drug contact who thinks he's tough, thinks he knows the score, swears a lot. Fuck off. I made him sort of like a bloke who came from Reading but has lived in London for a while. That's the accent I was trying to do. And I think I pulled it off. And this is a training video for schools, yeah?
I think we really tapped into the humour as well with people like Ricky. James Woods is another example of someone who was great at just taking what we'd had on paper and really kind of bringing it to life.
I don't care about anything about you except your cup size. One of the things I love to do in these games, because I always laugh when they put a little funny stuff in, even the way the sounds they make when some guy dies in a thing, like, whoa, I just love that stuff. So he has a lot of reactions when things happen to him, and I like to be able to slide a little humor into these games, because I think people really appreciate them. If you're wanting free legal advice, how about a little head?
Robert Loggia signed on, and Stephen Bauer, and the chainsaw guy. Oh my God, that's huge.
The material that we did today, I find it quite intriguing. The dialogue was amusing, trenchant, the ability to use the four-letter word like in Scarface, where the F word was used over 200 times.
What the fuck? Didn't your mama teach you any fucking manners? It's whiter than my fucking hick brother. Fucking loser.
It isn't like some cleaned-up version of something where it becomes antiseptic almost. Actually, it brought back feelings of nostalgia and happiness in spending the day with you this way.
Don't get high on your own supply.
We pick up the film at a point where Manny's already dead, so we're not going to change that fiction. But we love Stephen Bauer, and we really wanted to get him in the game, so we simply brought Stephen Bauer back to play another part, because we felt like if we're going to do Scarface, you got to go get the rest of the cast.
They're two different characters with different needs and purposes. One is Sandman, who's kind of a cool entrepreneur, should I call him.
Old Sosa thought he ran me out, but I was waiting for someone to take the fight to.
And then there's Alfonso Diaz, who's really kind of a nasty-spirited Colombian punk who probably believes that he's a better man than Tony. And
I thought I fucked your sister!
Tony just got lucky. He got all the breaks.
Worked with Eric Weiss, who was the guy who, behind all of this great cast we have. He's really the father of that cast because he put it all together. He was the one who ground the legwork out to get all of these people. It's the second time he's just hit it out of the park with us for casting. I think there's a lot of really great performances.
Yo, think about what you're fucking doing.
Jason Mewes was one of those people who really, really wanted to put in a game. And actually, a buddy of mine and I had met him briefly leaving an Angels game like 2-3 years ago, and I actually handed him my card.
Now back up!
When I met Pete, I was with my friend Brian at the time, and I was telling him about it. I was like, man, I wish I didn't lose that guy's card. And then my agent called me.
Now back the
I'm stoked about doing the voice.
I think the women play a big role in Tony's attitude. He loves the ladies, and if we're gonna make a game that captures Tony Montana, you have to capture that aspect of his character. And I think we do that in some unique ways.
With the right woman, there's no stopping me.
We have 5 characters in the game who are femme fatales, each cast by a really, really beautiful actress or model. You can find them in the game and then basically through a series of processes, bring them back to the mansion and have them come live with you.
You want to fuck with me? A little J-Lo mixed with maybe some Jamie Presley from My Name is Earl, whatever that show is, real trailer trash, and Hoochie Girl, got a big ass. I think she's got a good ass.
I don't know. Why don't you ask your dead mother?
Jillian Barberie just loves Scarface so much, and she loves to talk about it. It's a big reason why she's in the game.
Of course, my first thought was Diane. Who the hell was Diane? I'm playing Diane. I remember Diane. So of course it's, after Tony comes back, which, I was thrilled to be part of. Are you kidding? Thrilled. I hope she's hot, though.
I have seen fucking chihuahuas with more balls than that.
One of the other guys we recorded for this game was Lemmy, and he's kind of a unique character. We wanted to use someone like this as in the role of the gun bender.
You need something, Montana? I hook you up.
Everyone's really different. Like, you take someone like Oliver Platt. Oliver Platt comes in here, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's very clear on what he's doing. And he kind of comes in and he does it and he moves on.
There's the little tiny supplier, there's the medium supplier, there's the large supplier, then there's the big supplier. That's me, I'm the big supplier.
This tongue's like a great big pussy.
Yes, waiting to get fucked.
Another one of the guys we recorded was Mohr, who's a pretty well-known comedian in the US. He's just a great performer and a great improviser and has a ton of different voices he can do.
Well, you better hurry, the Chinese chick is driving.
There's a character, Logan, I play, who's the seen-it-all, old-school type of mechanic. Killed quite a few men, mostly probably with his bare hands, I would have guessed, back in the service when he learned to rip the bottom jaws off of Dobermans from behind silently. Those Recon Delta guys. He's a southern guy down in Miami trying to sort of make an honest living, but he'll do what he can on the side. That's Logan. And Logan kind of sounds like this. I may not be going to heaven, but I know there's a special hell down there for kid killers. That's Logan. I'll do a little dance. And then the other guy is Boca.
Hey, how's it going? You gonna stand there all day? Huh? Who's your daddy?
Jimmy Boca is the kind of tweaky, maybe a little too much speed, cocaine or other, upper, too much coffee guy.
You strapped? Huh? You carry? You wired?
And he's more like a New York, he's kind of out of it, crazy guy like this, like, hey, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Like that. So Jimmy Boca's like the drug supplier, and Logan's the mechanic that works with Tony Montana, and they align themselves to fight the good fight.
Guns? We don't need no stinking guns.
Cheech Marin, Tommy Chong, Tommy Lee, on and on through the cast is just a wonderful reflection on the popularity that the Scarface character has in popular culture today.
I love it. I love my character. It was quite a stretch, for me. I'm really not used to playing a drugged-out hippie.
Hey, let's go smoke some shit, man.
I'm just typecast. I just can't help it. Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me? Ooh.
I'm ready to expand your empire.
Tommy Lee in particular was just such a guy. He's just a funny guy. Just totally just into having a good time. Totally into just making this thing work.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Tony, you're the man.
It was really enjoyable, watching him work.
One of the things that we needed to do for Tony was really sort of fill this world of Miami with, all the villains from the film, and people were like, well, all the villains, I remember Sosa, and then I remember, Frank Lopez, but, who else? And, I think there are other characters mentioned in the film, for instance, when Frank Lopez and Tony are sitting in the Babylon Club, and Frank is sort of pointing out all the other, gangsters in Miami, whether it be Nacho Contreras or the fucking Diaz brothers or Gaspar Gomez.
Montana's been a fly on our shit ever since you sent your hit squad to Miami.
All those characters now come and play a big role in the game as crime bosses for one of the local areas of Miami.
Oh, I'm sorry, Montana. I didn't get your fucking memo. Gaspar is great. I mean, he's an evil guy, man. I don't usually get a chance to be so evil, so it's really nice to let that out and say all the cuss words you always wanted to say in your life. You still fucked up on your own supply?
Max Vandenberg is mysterious,
The Diaz brothers send their regards.
and he's hired by the Diaz brothers to come after Tony Montana. It was very, very satisfying in a way because I said a lot of things to Tony Montana that I'd probably like to say to my agent.
You're finished now.
It was a cathartic experience for me to play him.
Cool. That's all good stuff. Moving on.
He's the main boss's guard, and he's a bit of a tough guy. So if you want to do any dealings with the boss, you got to go through me first.
You're interfering with my concentration.
If you're a bad guy or if you're a boss, you got to command respect, and you can't let people step on you. So my character in the game is all about respect. You're either going to respect them or things are going to happen in a bad way. So I can relate.
Ready?
I might fire you instead of shoot you, but I can understand. I mean, you have to do it a certain way or you're going to have repercussions.
Anytime I can work with Ice-T and work with some other people you told me is on this game, Anthony Anderson, he's from Compton.
Oh, mama, I got worried. I don't know what that one means, y'all. Oh, mama, I got worried. I don't think a black man would say that.
Michael Rapaport, I'm a big fan of his. There's no game gonna be bigger than this.
He loves to talk smack because he knows he really at the end of the day doesn't have the power behind him.
Okay, you outgunned and outsmarted, cocksucker. Now, can I say cocksucker? I play a small supplier. He's a bit of an arrogant wannabe. He's really not the big guy. He's not Tony Montana, nowhere close to being that. But he has a little power. He has a little influence. Somebody kill this bitch! And he exercises that or exerts that on people.
Why is everyone always shooting at me?
One of the characters I play is sort of a small-time drug dealer who gets mixed up with Tony Montana and attempts to betray him. And then my other character is a corrupt cop, a cop and a drug dealer. Both ends of the spectrum, I guess, or maybe they aren't both ends of the spectrum at this point.
Officer needs assistance.
Cops make the best criminals and criminals make the best cops.
That's what you want, you're gonna get it.
Ideally, some of it have different morals. A cop walks into a room, he has a gun, and he wants some answers. Gangster walks in a room, he has a gun, and he wants some answers. And if either of them don't get their answers, they issue penalties, you dig? That's all it is. It's an easy transfer. So to me, it's just playing a heavy.
All I have in this world
is my balls and my word.
Now don't break them for no.
This is Tony's turn. Leave now.
She's hilarious with all of her snappy lines and attitude. It's so much fun to do that.
I loved Miss Venus, the fly girl, Guy Trapp. You apparently haven't met any of our fine local law enforcement. It wasn't a very big stretch for me. I, too, have been involved in several instances of drug trafficking and wild, illicit affairs with Cuban gangsters. So for me, I just drew from that Rolodex called my past. Fuck.
There's a lot of hotels in the game, and I'm one of the hotel owners. Tony comes in and wants to basically bully his way in. I won't give too much away, but you gotta decide, are you gonna work with him? And then Tony basically goes off, has to do a favor for the hotel owner, and he becomes partners with certain hotels.
You wanna fuck with me? This is a southern peach that has a hard pit, so you don't wanna really mess with her. At the same time, she's very genteel on the outside. Say hello to my little friend. There's something nice about the dimensions of that in the way the script progresses and gets revealed.
Look like you've done pretty well for yourself.
Well, this? Just climbing the corporate ladder. You know how it is. Jerry the Banker was a joy to do because he's so smooth. It was great to interface with, with Tony character, who's pretty wild.
Oh, the recording's excellent. It's
Eric
just
Weiss
excellent.
was able to find anybody on our wish list and make it happen. It was almost like we were doing an independent film because we were getting people to come in for much less than they normally would. Why? Because Scarface is a really, really big draw, and that really helps.
It didn't even matter if I had a name. I just wanted to be a part of the Yao Ming, you feel me?
Epic comes to mind.
This is Scarface. It don't get no bigger than that.
And that's a wrap.
Now get off my face.
Could you imagine?
So you've been doing voices for video.
I thought you were going to say you've been doing Cuban drug traffickers for years. It's exhausting.
How hairy are they?
Oh my God. Nothing that a little meat can't take care of. And when I see these things move, I'm so Amish 2000. I am Amish 2000. I just got my first computer. So I don't know anything about these little kids, you know, fondling their joysticks. You know what I mean? After school. I just know about old men fondling their joysticks.
That's like Connie J. It's like computer.
Lord help me! We would say that. Shut your mother mouth, you stupid son of God! Oh! See, I can get that out, right? Okay, and self-edit. Self-edit. Hi, Mama.
Arg? Am I a pirate? Arg! Arg, that totally sucked. No. Okay. Yikes! Oh, golly, oh, yikes! Oh, my God.
Actually, that was kind of nice. That's good.
Hey, sweetie, how about a blowjob?
Maybe this might be too much. How about one of my world famous blowjobs?
Okay. Hey, that's not pushing it. Just kidding, off record. Okay, anyways. Hey, sweetie, how about one of my world famous blowjobs? Hey, sweetie, how about one of my world famous blowjobs?
For you.
Oh, yeah, totally. Bye, thank you guys, bye.
I've missed you something awful, Tony. Jillian would never say that. I would never say something awful. I'd say, Tony, I've missed you so much.
1, 2.
But I mean, all of them are great.
Man, that rum goes down so smooth.
The third line you had
It's a tea. It's green tea antioxidant.
So Christ.
So I'm gonna have to do this 2 times, like a fuckless and a fucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Okay, that costs more. But you know, talk. My agent's right there behind you.
Right now.
Holy smelly shit.
Perfect.
I like that one.
Let's get a clean version for goddamn, and you can just say damn.
Yeah.
And personally,
Screw us in the ass? Yeah, that's getting around it. Hey, you guys
it's just
are
a
smart.
word. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah. And so you want me to get me doing some lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sneak in.
Ow!
Oh, scared me.
I get to do all the standards here because nobody knows me.
Awesome. So he's gonna get some action shots.
Okay.
So if you want, yeah. So what we were kind of joking around with Tommy yesterday was he was doing some funny stuff. So if you want to kind of like do some like funny action kind of stuff,
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Trouble is, playing a stoner, everybody thinks that they can fuck with me with the money. Yeah. Hey, yeah, just give him a couple of bucks. He's just going to get stoned anyway.
We'll pay you in peanuts.
Okay?
Okay, cool. This will be.
I'm pretty sure that little fucker ate them all. Oh, I better not say that little fucker then. Can I say that? Can I say it? I said it. Fuck you, editor. Do I care? I don't care about your job. It's your problem, not mine. If I can fucking swear, I'll fucking say anything I fucking want to say. Because that's the way I am. You know what I hate, man? The man. The man. Because the man's always trying to hold me down. It's just not fair, you know. The man put me in jail. That's what the man did. You gotta have the stoner ask cops directions with a joint in his mouth. You gonna do that? Yeah, you can do that. Because I've known stoners, you know, they don't get paranoid at the right time. They always get paranoid, you know, way after the fact. Like they'll be going, excuse me, sir, can you tell me? Ooh. Never mind.
Eat lead, you Cuban monkey. You Cuban gorilla. Eat lead, you Cuban gorilla. You monkey. Eat lead, you Cuban monkey.
Ooh, pelican fly! Come on, pelican!
Takes it out of you, doesn't it, swearing? Oh, oh dear. That's gonna be sore for a couple of days. Oh, they didn't teach me this at RADA. I didn't go to RADA.
Or we could just say something. Okay, we're moving on.
Bruce, throw a motherfucker a nickel. Can a nigga get a nickel off a game? God damn. A nickel. A funky nickel. Let's see, if it sold 1 million copies, a nickel, what's that? What, $5,000, $50,000? Can a nigga get a nickel? You rich motherfuckers. God damn. I mean, at the end of the day, let's put it like this. Don't send me a nickel till the thing sells 1 million copies. If it don't sell 1 million copies, don't. But if it sells 1 million copies, send me a nickel a copy. God damn. Rich motherfuckers. I'm gonna see you out there in your yacht when you guys doing the America's Cup or some shit. Talking that bullshit. But we here because we love it, you know, but it's good. We represent Scarface because it's a classic.
Just for a second.
Okay. So Rob's questions, they're going to be cut out, yeah?
Yeah, I hate that.
I'm not going to. Yeah.
I hate that.
So incorporating the
You
question.
mean I've got to incorporate the fucking... That's stupid.
Yeah.
Why don't you just leave his questions in?
Yeah.
It's a lot better. It's a lot more like an interview instead of me just volunteering information, which actually I don't have, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I always hated that.
We'll do it different.
Yeah, I'm difficult, you know.
Yeah.
When you're 60, you get to be difficult.
You've got the right to be, man.
Yeah, fucking right.
Is that why you're difficult, Sean?
No, it's one of my messages.
Listen, fucking hands off. You want fucking go, bitch? Come on, motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. What the f...
He was great at the Super Bowl. Paul McCartney.
Didn't see it at all.
Not a Paul McCartney fan. I think he's a whatever. And then suddenly, he's doing JoJo Was a Man and Baby You Can Drive My Car, and it was like not even pop. It was like filthy back in the day rock and roll. Get back. Get back. I was like, wow, that got under my skin, goosebump rock. I said, I take it all back, Paul. Get back. I'm just gonna sing so you guys can't clear any of the B-roll that you shoot at me.
That's fine.
But what if I only sing public domain?
There you go.
I'm feeling lucky today.
That's cool. Put him on the soundtrack.
And no lines from Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
I was on Celebrity Justice last night. I got booed off the stage at a cancer benefit, and I was offered $25,000 by a dead kid's grandmother to end my show.
That's awesome.
I did a benefit for multiple sclerosis, Duchenne multiple sclerosis, and standing ovation, 2 of them in the middle and the end. And I got page 6 calling my agent like, did he really get booed off stage at a cancer benefit? My agent has no idea.
That's awesome. Hey, we're going to print you out a new script real quick. We didn't realize there was a slight change, and I'd rather you not have to write it.
This is bullshit!
Use the room. Cowbell.
My friend's a redneck. He's from Tennessee, and we were pulling up to a Dodger game, and all the scalpers are at the bottom of Elysian Parkway. It's like 100 scalpers right there at the bottom of the hill. It's a Sunset in Elysian. And we're driving up. It's me and like 2 of my buddies, and who are both black, and this guy, John, who's not a hillbilly. And as we're pulling up, he goes, y'all see that black guy right there? And we're like, in the ocean of black males, I saw 1 or 2. Yeah. That motherfucker sold me bullshit tickets to Weenie Roast. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, man. I was mad too, because it was like a $100 ticket. And just a big, fat, out-of-shape guy, this guy. I go, what did you do? He goes, I was mad. I went up to him. I said, now look here, motherfucker. You sold me bullshit tickets to a Weenie Roast. So I want my motherfucking money back. I go, what did he do? Did he stab you in the neck? He goes, no, man. He said he gave me regular tickets and told me to meet him after the show in the woods, and he'd give me a free Weenie Roast t-shirt. And I go, and what happened? He goes, I went and I met him, and he gave me, I still got the t-shirt. I'm like, you met a guy in the fucking woods after, like, you're already in the show.
Truck stop at the.
I just love, now look here, motherfucker. That must have scared the guy to death. Just a pudgy white guy rolling up. Now look here, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
You sold me bullshit tickets to a Weenie Roast. I want my motherfucking money back.
Oh, fucking hunt you down. That's a great boy. Yeah, Dr. Phil.
And that man's email address at AOL.com for those of you that want to drop him a line. He's my fantasy baseball and football commissioner also.
There you go. Stand by, hold on.
All right, come on. Stop horsing around. Seriously.
Just do that.
Forget that.
This will be.
Whose fucking phone is that?
I know. What is that? All right, here it is.
I don't mind that it rang. I just hate the ring.
I know.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, man, it only came with so many, you know? I mean, what can you choose?
That was yours?
I need a new phone, man. I mean, it's like, 6 months later, they're already like, I mean.
What color is that shirt? Split pea?
Tommy Bahama.
Tommy Bahama Mama.
I'm in the Montana thing.
Can I give you the alternate, please? 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 Can I please give you an alternate?
No. Okay.
My kid's in the car. It's hot in that car. It's hot. Hot cars kill kids.
All right, so obviously referring to Chinatown here, and you just know SC 1701, take 60.
The trucks are. Oh. I should do one or the other. The trucks are ready and loaded with the coke from the tanker. You just need. Tony, it's Logan. One of your delivery trucks is in trouble. I'm pretty sure Gaspar is after it. They just left the shop and. Oh, you better hurry. The Chinese chick is driving. Sneak in the racism somehow. Oh my God. Asian driver, Tony. Hey, I didn't write it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. One more time. I like where you're going with it.
If I was baked playing this game, I'd fall off my couch on that line. You better hurry. The Chinese chick is driving.
Take a little further. Take a little further. Funny. This will be take 19.
Take it a little further, Jay. We're filming B-roll. Go ahead. Let some racist thing roll out of your mouth. Sure.
Send it to the press. CNN tonight. Larry King's coming on.
She's chewing on a wall. Tony, it's Logan. One of your delivery trucks is in trouble. Oops, I'm gonna start that one over. Tony, it's Logan. One of your delivery trucks is in trouble. I'm pretty sure Gaspar is after it. They just left the shop and... Oh, you better hurry. The Chinese chick is driving. You know how Asian drivers are, Tony. She's doing the speed limit in the carpool lane.
Cool. B? Yep. Okay. Now go back to the top.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just explain what each situation is, and we can roll through kind of a variety of them.
I'm gonna guess he's being held up. Somebody has a gun,
something like
and he's
that.
not afraid because it takes more than a gun?
No, in that neighborhood.
Let's roll. Let's shoot it.
So let's do 01 through 07, 3
Oh, you want to do them in order? You want to do them in order
yeah,
like that?
I just want you to go straight
You want to
through.
start with the first one?
Three times, move on 3 times.
All right, so we're going to start with 1.
We'll start with 1.
Okay.
And then go to 7.
Right.
And we'll finish there.
So that would be
redirect.
That'd be the first page, 1 through 7.
No, that would just be half the page.
Oh, there's a 7 at the bottom.
Explain to you what human contact
There's a 7 at the bottom of the page too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It splits up.
Whoa, where are you going? What happened?
So this time it's
You know,
Gotta go to the bathroom.
Human resources. I didn't need to know that, and I'm uncomfortable, and I'll see you at human resources at the oak desk.
Okay, great. File that report.
Now I gotta do this whole thing.
Okay, so just 1 through 7 for gun visible.
Are you stupid or something? Private Pile, get the fuck off my obstacle!
Yeah.
Where did you get that shirt?
Tommy Bahama.
But where?
That was in
the camera for the plug. That's
where the hell I go. My wife got it for me actually.
You know why women dress their husbands in Tommy Bahama shirts? To make sure no other woman wants to have sex with them.
Probably right. That's the way my wife really is, too.
I dressed myself. T-shirt, jeans, and your wife probably laid those out the night before like a 5-year-old.
I only wish my wife did that.
Powdered Desitin diaper.
My wife will go. I wish.
Here are your clothes for tomorrow, Bubby. Big day.
I wish that happened. Trust me. Only in my dreams.
This is when he dies with a dick in his mouth. Don't hold my nose. Give me something to write on, man. Boom, ding, 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 ding. I got it bad, got it bad, got it bad. I'm hot for teacher. Oh, yes, I'm hot. White people.
It's good B-roll too. It's a cigar. It's a cigar. Indian cigar. This town is like one great big pussy.
I can't tell you a darn thing about my character in the video game.
Okay.
What does nacho mean? No, just.
We're gonna use that. So.
I'll tell you what nacho means. Actually, nacho is short for the proper name of Ignacio, and Nacho is a nickname.
Really?
Yeah. But a lot of guys who are named Ignacio don't like to be called Nacho ever since nachos as a snack became popular. So all of a sudden it would. But I love just onomatopoeically, I love the name Nacho. It just sounds very macho, and it rhymes with macho.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't have any balls, so I have no word. Do you understand?
This ain't Peter Pan. This ain't Shamar Mohr lip gloss. This is Tiny Lips straight out of Compton High. 6'5", 275, got serious suntan. What's your problem? Yeah.
A case of condoms, okay? Yeah. Hey, I've got a case I need to prepare. You know, if you're wanting free legal advice, go down to one of those, like, legal aid society, okay? Hey, if you're wanting free legal advice, how about a little head? Seriously, you looking for free legal advice? Wrong guy. If you want free legal advice, you know what I say? Go fuck yourself, okay? Wrong guy. Good. Look, we've all got problems, so yours are just kind of apparent because you're an ugly motherfucker, okay? Yeah.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Do you understand?
Tony Montana is somebody that I, and probably every actor, one way or another, every male actor I know, has Tony somewhere that they keep around when they pull out in all kinds of situations.
Next thing out of your mouth is gonna be your teeth, puto!
You're not just impersonating a Spanish actor, you're impersonating a guy from the Bronx doing a Spanish accent. So that becomes a whole, you know, it's almost a double impression.
Say hello to my little friend!
It's always a very physical performance, whether anyone ever sees the physicality or not. Certain ways that you speak affect the way that you move, or certain ways that you move affect the way that you speak.
Fuck them all!
The minute you start thinking of Tony, the chest has to come out, the shoulders go back, and there's a kind of swagger. And then that just inevitably becomes a vocal thing.
Hey, you want a drink? It's almost a softness that's containing the explosion that is yet to come, you know? So if I talk to you like this, all of a sudden, I go, fuck you! It becomes, you know, you can go from huge to small because it's always, the fuse is always lit. It's just a question of when the fuck it goes off, you know? Holy shit! There's so many. Tony lines. You fucking cocksucker! But you got a look in your eye like you haven't been fucked in a year. I piss in your face, how'd you like that? Fuck you!
Scarface pressed a very specific button that I don't think any movie had ever really fully captured. And it was that the little guy with huge ambitions that would not be contained. And I think every one of us who's not necessarily well-known or famous is walking around and they want the world. And Tony's a guy who just immediately walks into the room as if he owns the joint, even when he's washing dishes in a little bodega. You know, I mean, that's the beauty of Tony.
I'm Tony fucking Montana! Move that fucking camera out of my fucking face or you're gonna die. Do you understand?
Me, I want what's coming. Or what's coming to you. The world, Chico. All I have in this world is my balls and my word. I don't break them for no. You understand?
Revenge is the act of passion. Vengeance is an act of justice.
Put this thing together! Me! That's one! I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming. Keep it up, man. Fuck them all!
In the final scene of the Scarface movie, you remember Tony Montana going into a frenzy and shooting like 30 of Sosa's men. We've captured that final scene into what we called blind rage mode. We kind of boiled it all down and we made it a benefit to the player. In blind rage mode, you're invulnerable, you have unlimited ammo, you regenerate your health, and targeting is assisted. In order to build up blind rage, we have a system called balls. In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a red circle with Tony's silhouette. That's Tony's health meter. And the red kind of goes down as Tony gets shot. But around that, you'll see the silhouette of another little gray circle. That's the balls meter. And as you shoot, little hit points that say plus 30 balls, that little gray line fills in with white. You fill the balls meter 3 different ways. Number 1, skilled targeting. If you hit an enemy in the head, you're going to get a lot more points than if you shoot him in the leg. You also get more points for manual targeting than lock-on targeting. And here I'm going to lock onto this guy by holding L1, and it makes it much easier to target certain body parts. I just don't get as many balls points for killing him. You also get bonus balls points by intimidating your victims as they fall dead in front of you, and you do that by hitting the taunt button. The taunt button is a circle button, and that's what you're hitting to talk shit to all these guys as they're dying. The downside to intimidating enemies during combat is that Tony slows his step for a second, and he kind of waves his gun around. If you're gonna talk smack to somebody, you really gotta make the point. You gotta wave your arm. When Tony does that, it takes him out of the game for a second. While he waves his gun as the dude's falling dead and he's talking smack, that gives the other enemies on screen a chance to shoot you. But sometimes if you taunt an enemy, he'll either go down on his knees and beg for mercy, or it'll bring him out of cover. It infuriates him, and so he charges you. But when you're taunting enemies during combat, it's kind of a trade-off. You're either making him go down on his knees and beg for mercy, or having him come straight at you and charge you. Those both take them out of their game. But every time you taunt, it takes a half step away, so they can be shooting you. Lastly, you can intimidate cops, gang members, and pedestrians. And so once that whole circle around the health meter turns white, your balls meter is full, and when his balls are full, then you've unlocked the ability for him to flip out on these guys that he's fighting. We're unleashing blind rage mode. Once I hold circle and enable blind rage mode, we go into first person and the screen goes red and it goes kind of shaky. Although you're Tony Montana the whole game, when it goes into first person mode, you're really becoming Tony Montana. We take the term you're seeing red literally. All sorts of stuff happens for these next 10 seconds. There's 4 main components to the blind rage mode. Number 1, I have infinite ammo. Number 2, I'm invincible. Number 3, my health regenerates. And number 4, which is probably the most important, there's an auto-aim feature where circles appear over the enemies, and as long as I shoot in their general direction, I take them out. When you release your blind rage is very strategic. It can be either offensive or defensive. You use it offensively by walking up to a big group of guys and killing them all in one fell swoop. Now let's say I was near death, but my balls meter was full. I would go use the blind rage to get my health ticking back up. Later in the game, I'm gonna have to do that just to survive. That's really Tony Montana. You're the drug kingpin that just flipped out. That's how you know that you're the OG gangster Tony Montana. So it's kind of like a coke-fueled frenzy. He just took 100 bullets while all these guys are shooting him. He's superhuman at that point.
I'm Tony fucking Montana!
Tony's all about making money. He amasses this insane drug empire in no time flat. And it's because he knows what he's doing and he gets what he wants. So the whole game is, it's a drug empire. I gotta make money. The way you make money is the nuts and bolts of being a drug kingpin. Money is a huge deal. Lots of ways to earn it, and lots of ways to spend it. The main way to make money in Miami is selling grams of cocaine to dealers. When Tony first comes back, he talks to his buddy Felix. Felix is his main coke hookup. He sends Tony off on some small supplier missions, a few hundred grams from a small supplier, and then Tony goes and resells that at higher value, and that's where he gets his profit. There's 3 main levels of drug deals. You gotta make a lot of different deals, and you start out with small supplier deals. 100 grams of coke to a street dealer. Later on, when you get your fronts, get your storehouses, they're big fat $1 million deals, and you're making the profit directly. The middle level is, once Tony starts getting fronts, that's your next step up on the drug kingpin ladder. They'll distribute it for him, they're doing the dirty work, and you get the revenue. He gets huge returns on all that. Then the high level deals are once you have enough fronts in an area, you can take over that whole area of Miami by taking over the storehouse. Always a huge gun battle and dealers are going down right and left, but once you own that storehouse, that's when Tony brings in a big old boatload of coke from the islands, and then you gotta get it delivered out to all the fronts. And that's when you get the real return on the investment. That's where you get millions of dollars in one deal. Here I'm gonna demonstrate a small supplier mission for you. I bring the sat phone menu up by holding L2 and press the X button to bring up the Empire page. It shows the map of Miami, business, terp, and vice cops. I'm going to select business, and it's going to show me the different types of missions I can run on. I select Felix lead because Felix is Tony's hookup to the various suppliers around Miami. Now you see a little red X on the side of my mini-map in the bottom left corner of the screen. I'm going to drive towards that red X. You'll see in the background in the distance a red pillar of light. That's where I'm going towards. So I just drive over to him. You see the $5,000 in the top right corner of the screen. That's my initial investment that I'm going to put down to get these drugs from him. So I'm doing the intimidation. I'm going to hold circle. I filled the meter on the left, which in turn fills the meter on the right. I did as good as I could on that, which meant I got 700 grams for the deal. I've paid $5,000 for 700 grams of coke, and it's up to me to sell it and try to get the maximum profit. So there's an alley over here where I know where the dealer is. There he is. Jump out of the car, and it's the same kind of intimidation mechanic. There's two different components. There's a circular meter on the left, and then there's the horizontal meter on the bottom right of the screen that's kind of going off to the right. When I hold the circle button down, a red line fills up the circular meter on the left. The object is to let go of the circle button right when that meter fills up, so that I get maximum distance, maxes out my meter, and I get a full deal. Or a good intimidation, or I fast talk the cops, whichever one it is. And if you overshoot, you get nothing. If you overshoot when you're talking to a cop, they'll take all the drugs and cash you have on you. If you overshoot when you're talking to a drug dealer, he'll pull out a gun and start shooting at you. I did it right. $10,000. That's double my initial investment already, and I just sold a seventh of the drugs. So that means if I continue to do all these right, I'm going to get $70,000 for a $5,000 investment. You can't beat it with a stick.
Tony fucking Montana!
Once you get the money, then you get the power. The power to buy what you need whenever you want through the Exotics catalog. You can purchase hirelings, including a driver, an arms dealer, and two other playable characters, the Enforcer and the Assassin. You can also buy lots of different cars, crazy expensive boats, and even stuff to pimp out your mansion. A great hint, remember how I said before the cops can clean you out of the dirty cash if you fail a fast talk intimidation? The safest thing to do is take your dirty cash to a bank and launder it. It'll be safe forever in the bank. But what if you don't have time to get to the bank? Let's say you have $1 million and the cops are after you. And you're worried that if you don't fast talk these cops, they're going to take $1 million. You don't want to risk losing your $1 million, so spend it on exotics. Because you're going to get the benefit of the reputation from them. You're going to be able to use them later in the mansion, regardless of if you buy them right now before the cops show up, or if you're at the mansion later. Think of the exotics catalog as a tax shelter for your dirty cash, where the cops can't get their grubby little hands on it. If you spend the money here in the exotics menu before they can take it from you, you get reputation points, and you get to keep what you bought to put in your mansion next time you go home. The tax shelter idea. That's an exploit that I use. There's all these different things you can do to your mansion through the exotics catalog. The Renovate tab allows you to fix up your mansion, but you can also buy two other sets of decor. One is new and modern, and the other one is kind of ancient and gothic. It's just a fun way to make the mansion look different. And you also get reputation for it. The furniture and the decor and the other items that you can buy to put in your mansion, it's important to know that you can place it wherever you want in the mansion. I like to buy a bunch of exploding barrels and put them in a line like dominoes and fire them off. Go up one side of the main staircase and down the other. You can do that if you want. It's just a silly way to play with the game, and when you save your progress, the stuff that you bought and the positions that it's located is all saved. So you can just do silly stuff and put whatever you want wherever you want. Here's the long list of cars that you can stock your garage with. Your driver can bring any of these cars to you at a moment's notice once you buy them. Price is proportional to value. Little beater car is going to be like $5,000, and fast Italian sports car is going to be more like $50,000. The different boats that are available. Included with the boats is the float plane, which can take you straight to the islands from wherever you are in Miami. Now I'm looking through my hire links. I want to demonstrate how invaluable my driver and my arms dealer are, as this is a lucrative benefit you will want to exploit often throughout the game. I'll call up the arms dealer and buy some big toys. Rocket launcher, sniper rifle, machine gun. I think I'll even grab the shotgun. And I'm also going to buy ammo for each. The arms dealer has sold me these weapons, which means if I call up a car, they're going to be in the trunk. I call my driver and I ask him to bring me an exotic sports car. When it shows up, the trunk is stocked with the goodies I just bought. I'll grab the rocket launcher and the shotgun, and I'm going to take the grenade launcher that I already had on me and put it in the trunk. I can only carry so many guns at once, and I don't want the grenade launcher this time, I want the rocket launcher. So now I can roll into this storehouse mission and put the big hurt on these thugs. Best few $1,000 I ever spent.
Tony fucking Montana!
First you get the money, then you get the power. But Miami's crawling with cops who know who Tony is. So power doesn't come easy to a guy with a reputation like Tony's. Imagine if every pig on the street knew your face and knew that you were a huge drug dealer. They're gonna take notice if you pull out a gun and start shooting in the middle of the street. You're Tony fucking Montana. Anything you do wrong out in the open raises your cop heat. If the heat gets too high, the cops will come, chase you down, and harass you. So there's two options. You either pay down the heat before the cops show up, or you try to fast talk them when they do show up. One costs money, the other one risks money. You pay off the cops, the cop heat goes down automatically. You know ahead of time how much you're gonna lose. But let's say you just did a $5,000 deal. So you got $5,000 of dirty cash on you. And let's say you got 200 grams of coke. And you do something stupid like run over a little old lady when your heat was already high enough. And the cops show up and you fail your fast talk intimidation. They're gonna clean you out. They're gonna take all the grams of coke and all the dirty cash that are on you at that time. If you don't have any money, you can wreak havoc, right? The cops are going to show up, you either intimidate them or you don't, but regardless, you're not losing it. But if you have a lot of money, you want to be really careful. You might want to pay down that cop heat so you can make it to the bank without getting pulled over. You pay down cop heat by going to the Empire page in your sat phone menu. You hold down L2 to bring up sat phone, you hit Empire, and the third option down is cop heat. You can actually pay down cop heat and gang heat separately. You gotta grease palms on both sides of the law. If I run amok in Miami and consistently wreak havoc, like I am right now, my cop heat will start to go up. This is represented by the white bar that's starting to fill up around the mini-map on the bottom left corner of my screen. You can see I'm hitting cars here, and that white bar is kind of filling up kind of quick, but not that quick. You can kind of drive like an idiot, and the cops really don't care. I mean, this is 1980s Miami. Everybody's either drunk or high. Cops don't care that much. They got bigger fish to fry. But when I start running over pedestrians, then they start to take a little more notice. People flying everywhere, but hitting a pedestrian, much worse than hitting a car. But my heat's still not going up fast enough to prove my point here. Go ahead and stop the car and pull out my gun. Since I have my gun out in a public street, that cop heat is going to start going up continuously just because I have a gun out. If I duck over here into this alley where nobody can see me and nobody sees what I'm doing, that heat stops going up and it actually starts going back down. Cops' awareness of me is lower. I'm going to go back out on the main street and start shooting. Now that I'm shooting, the cops are really starting to take notice. Everybody's running and screaming, bailing out, trying to save themselves. So here come the cops. Between me shooting at the gang members and the gang members shooting at me, you've got a major firefight on the street. Pedestrians are running for their lives. The cops show up. But here's the important part. When the cops show up, I put my gun away. If my gun was still out when the cops showed up, they would shoot on sight. But since I put my gun away, they just walk up to me to talk to me. And when they just walk up to talk, they intimidate Tony. you have the option to fast talk them and say, hey, I'm Tony Montana, leave me alone. Don't you got a donut to go eat over there? I successfully fast talk the cops, and they go away. They leave me alone this time around. They don't take my money, they don't shake me down, they just go about their business. Had I unsuccessfully fast talked them, had I failed this intimidation, they would have cleaned me out. So if you notice, my cop heat was at about 75% there. The white meter was around to the 9 o'clock position. Had the white line completely encircled the map and gotten up to 12 o'clock, a blue line would start to go around over the white one, around the same circle. That's when the cops are officially after you in force, and they're not taking any shit. If you don't get away before the blue line completely circles the map, a helicopter and the DEA will both show up and you'll be dead in seconds. It's just a hail of bullets. You'd have to be Superman to get out of it. It's really just smarter to fast talk the cops or escape than let it get to that point where they all show up. There's also no paying off cop heat at that point. Like, you've gone too far and they're gonna take you out. Now I'll get into a gunfight out in the open with this gang nest. My cop heat goes up really fast and my gang heat's also going up because I'm killing gang members. I'm gonna quickly pay off the gang heat I just incurred by killing those gang members because I don't want to mess with them right now. If the cops are already on me, last thing I need is the other gang members to be on me too. So I go into my sat phone, go to the Empire page, scroll down to heat, and I pay off the gang members. I think it's $2,000 I'm going to pay off. So the gang's not bothering me anymore, but instead of also paying off the cops, I'm going to try to escape this time. So I just get in my car and you see the cop badge icon on the mini map with a red circle around it. I have to escape that red circle. I have to get away from the area where the cops are. So I'm just gonna jump in my muscle car here and speed off. And if I get far enough away, and I do get far enough away this time, I escape. So I didn't have to intimidate them and I didn't have to pay them off. I just escaped, which was my plan C. As I'm driving and running around Miami, run over every pedestrian I see, bash into every car I see, be shooting people up all over the place, but I'm gonna be continuously gaining cop heat and gang heat. I'll just keep paying off the cop heat so I don't even have to mess with the cops. But it's a lot more cost effective to either fast talk them or get away, because all the money that I could be spending on exotics and new cars and guns, I'm spending on cop heat instead. Why spend all my money on that? It's just a money pit. It's endless.
Tony fucking Montana!
During combat, the best offense is a good defense. Self-preservation tactics are always smart during gun battles, even if you are Tony Montana. There's lots of different ways to approach any gunfight. So here we're going to talk about taking cover. Let's go over wall cover and crouching. These tactics give you an advantage as you become a smaller target and are harder to hit. This greatly increases your survivability in a gunfight. And I'm going to use the camera angle to my advantage. If I exploit the camera angle, I can see the enemies even though they can't see Tony. And that's important. It's there, why not exploit it? And there's two main ways for Tony to take cover and play defensively while he's attacking gang members. Wall cover and crouching. Wall cover is just using your environment in a defensive manner to keep out of the line of fire. Tony can go up to a corner of a wall and he can stick to the wall. You go up to the corner and you press X. Tony puts his back to the wall and he can lean out and shoot around the corner and then whip back behind the corner to reload. Nobody in their right mind is just gonna walk up and stand in the middle of the room and trade shots. That doesn't really happen in real life. You're gonna use as much cover as you possibly can to keep your body protected until the very last possible critical second. And then you're gonna duck out, shoot the guys, kill somebody, and then duck back behind cover again before the next guy can shoot you. And then the crouching is the same way. If you crouch down, you become a smaller target. You move slower, so it's kind of a trade-off. You get Tony to crouch by pushing the left thumbstick in towards the controller. Here I'm approaching a group of enemies who all have automatic weapons. They'd tear me up if I just ran up and blindly started shooting at them. So you'll notice I'm going to take a couple pot shots from behind cover, like rocks and trees. Then take my time to line up the next shot. You know, it's strategic. You're trying to do it smart. And as long as you're playing smart like that, basically unstoppable.
Tony fucking Montana!
Me, I want what's coming. Or what's coming to the world, Chico. All I have in this world is my balls my word. And I don't break them for no one. You understand?
Revenge is the act of passion. Vengeance is an act of justice.
Put this thing together! Me! That's one! I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming. Got that? Fuck them all! I'm done!
This is the sketch of the E3 booth. We are going to rebuild the balcony of Tony's mansion where the movie ends and the game begins. So we'll have people lining up to see the game. They'll walk up the stairs, and then we'll have a demo inside.
I oversee all the creative for the company in terms of marketing. What we're looking at really here is a two-story building that is built inside of another building, which is the convention center here. And we actually started working on the exhibit last September. So for the last several months, we've been working on the exhibit. The setup of the exhibit takes almost 2 weeks. Scarface has taken almost the full 2 weeks to set up in hardcore, people moving hard and people moving fast. This is a cool opportunity to get to do something of this size, 24 feet tall, and see it done in 3 dimensions. This was all custom fabricated for us, and it has most of the things you would expect in a building: carpeting, ceilings, electrical, air conditioning, everything you would find in a house except for plumbing. So this is very much done just like a Broadway show would be, which is high drama, lots of visual trickery, basically making it over the top as possible. So we kind of supersize everything. Most of the elements are replicas from the movie, and we try to be really faithful to the movie. Some of the elements are actually from the game, and we're trying to be true to the game too. So it's kind of a mix, it's kind of a blend of stuff from the game. It may not seem unusual in a house, but these double half-spiral staircases had to be custom made specifically for this. These candelabras here are also exact replicas from the movie, again supersized. These are real crystal chandeliers here. This medallion here is actually from the game, and that's an exact replica, a very detailed one, and it is from the game, and it's pretty cool. This is from the movie. It's an exact replica of the one that's in the movie. With the exception, the one in the movie was about 7 feet tall. This one is about 12 to 13 feet tall. We're kind of trying to create something that would make people excited to come up and get their picture taken, or to shoot their TV show from here or whatever. So when we're designing this, we actually think in terms of how is it going to feel compared to everything that's around it. And it has to be supersized, and it has to be over the top so it can compete with everything around it.
I was really, really proud. I think it's the best booth we've ever had, or any game I've ever been associated with. Far and away the best booth, which was that recreation of Tony's balcony. It just looked phenomenal. It made you feel like you were in the film. And since the game tries to do that so often, so much of the time, it was nice for us to be at E3 and also create that same feeling.